Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be going over another Vanguard deck profile, right? Of course, we'll be taking a look at Direful Dolls. We won't actually be taking a look at Direful Dolls today, but we will soon, so keep your eyes focused on that. And I kind of personally want to wait till set 2, because that's where the deck becomes more interesting in my opinion. Today we're going to take a look at the Haven class in Shadowverse. You guys saw we posted our first Shadowverse video, I think last week it was, when we posted a dragon list, and now we're back with a Haven list. They kind of forced me into showcasing this deck, as you know, a lot of people kind of spouting the egg Haven build everywhere, and this is a alternative Haven build that is less common, but I still think it has quite some potential in this current metascape for set 4, where next week we're going to set 5. It's actually also a pretty easy deck to upgrade with the new Omen, so definitely I think a very nice deck to try your hands in if you like a control-based strategy. Main boss unit Heavenly Aegis, we'll be taking a look at him, but he is the main keepsake of the deck. I'll be going over the deck in order from low cost to high cost. I think that's the easiest way. With beautiful sleeves. First of all, we're running a one-of Guardian Sun. This is a very important one-of, as it will give your Heavenly Aegis ward, and that's usually the game-winning play. You give your Heavenly Aegis ward, they can't touch you. Turn after that, you swing with Heavenly Aegis and you say GG. That's quite literally what you have to do. The deck is built around that. It's built around finishing on Heavenly Aegis. It has multiple ways to bring out Heavenly Aegis. You just kind of need to hope that it wins you the game. I've noticed in my games where oftentimes you've been losing the entire match until the point where you hit Heavenly Aegis, and then just where you start winning. Now, one of our tools to get there is the Will to Overtake. It's the only Uma Musume card in this deck, thankfully. I'm not that big of a fan of Uma cards. So this card lets you to look at top 3 and then stack them top to bottom any way you want. Really good. And also for 2 costs you can put it into the cemetery to draw a card, so that's an added use. But more often than not you'll be looking at the Dark Offering. Actually, it lets you destroy a card in your field, heal for 3, and then draw a card. So one of my main targets I like to use this on is actually the Will to Overtake. I feel like it's actually a really good target to use this card on to get that added value. Another neat card to use this card on is Bellringer. Yeah, you know Bellringer from set 1, the card that will probably be forever playable in control-based strategies. Yeah, she's still here, but she's particularly good in this deck. It gives you early game defensive power, and you know, you ward it, they try to swing into it, and then quick effect you Dark Offering it. So you just get, you know, free value and you still block the attack, because, you know, Bellringer isn't going to do any damage. So you're not going to miss out on returning fire. And removing the target that they're attacking stops the attack, so that's pretty neat. Now, to help early aggro decks, to counter them, we have Angelic Snipe, quick effect, deal 2 damage to something, really useful. You know, end phase, you snipe, when they attack you snipe, you just try to ward off damage. This can also work in conjunction with other cards where they have like too much health, because quite a few of these Haven control tools are like, oh, your opponent needs to be 3 or less health to banish them, just like this card, Blackened Scripture. You can target something with 3 or less health and banish it. This is the one card I thought would be better and kind of didn't deliver what I wish that it did. It's a bit unfortunate. I'm not really sure what to put in the slot though. But yeah, this is probably the one card I would cut if I were to make changes to this list in set 4. Next up, we got the Globo the Starway. Really great card. On place lets you search any amulets. So, you know, you can search for your one-of Guardian Sun. That's also why you only need to run 1, right? You have a searcher for it. And as a quick, you can pay 2 to draw a card and heal 1. Useful ability that is a quick effect, because it allows us to do some funky shenanigans of leaving up play points to use other quick effects. And, you know, if our opponent doesn't do anything, we got to draw from the globe. It also allows us to trigger Elena's Prayer. So yeah, I decided to try out Elena's Prayer in this build. There's a lot of builds that also don't. I actually quite like Elena's Prayer, because it gives you like an alternative strategy that isn't just focused on Heavenly Aegis. Quite nice, quite useful. So every time you heal, once per turn, you give your entire field +1/+1. Really strong, really potent card, if you have the heal targets for it. Now, for one of our best control tools, he's been here since the starter deck, it's the Priest of the Cudgel. You can evolve him for 1. Evolution banishes something with 3 or less health, so you can take care of 2 bodies if you have 1 rested, 1. That's also where Angelic Snipe comes in useful. If they have 5 health, you snipe it, it goes on a tree, and then you priest it, take care of the thing. Really good. Next up, one of my favorite cards in Haven it's John Dark. John is extremely powerful in against decks that go really wide, such like Sword and stuff. So on place Fanfare, it deals 2 damage to each enemy follower on the field, really strong. You can evolve for 2 and then do another 2 damage to each enemy follower, and increase the health of all your followers besides yourself by 2. Really good, really strong. Next up is a card that will be really good actually in this meta and the current one. It's the Acolyte's Light. At first I kind of underestimated this card because it's a 4 cost, which is a lot, but just the fact that it banishes anything and any follower and then heals you for 2 is really good. This is really good going into Elephant Forest for 1. It also can take care of some like key pieces for the Necro Charge, Abyss builds, you know, banish their troublesome cards, make sure they can't revive them later with Ishtar. And that's also why I like the Blackened Scripture, because it can banish the Demonium Punk Devil. So that's one really good use case for this card. But again, it's only one matchup. Maybe this card would have been more useful to me if I went up against more aggro-based matchups, but it was quite control-heavy this weekend, actually. So then next up, the card that I think some people might disagree with me on is it's Kaguya. I think Kaguya is really good. Kaguya has a very simple effect of on place. You can put down any amulet with 3 costs or less, and then whenever an amulet comes in play, you choose one of your opponent's followers and deal a damage equal to the amulet's cost. This is one of the control tools that we have access to. On Evolve, it calls down an Ethereal Moon token, which I have right here. So it's another 3 cost amulet to ping another 3 damage. Also you heal 3, so if you call down Elena's Prayer and then Kaguya it, you instantly trigger Elena's Prayer because you heal 3. So that's why I really like that synergy between those two. I think it's a pretty neat synergy between those 2 cards. That's kind of why I wanted to base my mid to late range strategy around it. Then I have a 1/0 Odile White Swan, very pretty art, very censored art. So this card gives each other follower on your field +2 health, and it heals you by 2. So not only does it buff all followers when you have Lena's Prayer on the field, it also heals your leader, and as such triggers Lena's Prayer, and then it does the same thing as the last word effect. Next up, we have Temesis's Decree. Just destroy each enemy. Destroy every follower on the field. Really strong because oftentimes you won't have a field, or there'll be like a bunch of amulets on your field, and you'll be like standing against a big white enemy board that you want to break. So this card is an easy tree of, easy inclusion in this deck. I think at any Haven control build you should probably play Temesis's Decree. It's just strong and it'll keep being strong. Our penultimate card in this deck is Aether of the White Wings, which I'm running at 2. I think you could bump this up to 3, honestly. It's a really good card. It says you can search any follower out of your deck with a cost less than your max play points. So on turn 9, this can search your Heavenly Aegis, but if you play it on, on curve on turn 7, you can actually search out the Odile White Wing, which will then, make this a 3/7. If you have it Elena's Prayer, it'll make it a 4/8. That's a really good stat line to have on a ward body, so that's really nice. Unfortunately, I kept drawing this card this weekend, which is quite unfortunate, but I still really like the synergy between that whole shenanigan. So yeah, I'm a big enjoyer of Aether, and Aether will only get better as we get more good targets for Aether, such as Wilpert in set 6. Next up, our final card in the deck, Heavenly Aegis. I talked about him earlier, but he's the main win con, honestly. Can be destroyed by abilities, and he has aura, so you can target him with effects, and then you can evolve him for 2 play points or discarding 3 cards, and then he becomes a 10-tip with just not being able to take damage for a turn. Talking about the Evo deck, let's quickly go over it. So I have 1 Heavenly Aegis Evo, like I just said, can't take damage for the turn, really good. Then I'm running the 2 Kaguya Evos, gets you the Moon token, and then heal you for 3. I'm running 3 copies of the Priest of Cudgel, mainly because I just don't have that many Evos, so I just max out on this card. 3 copies of the John the Arc Evolve, and last but not least Bellringer Evolve, who's kind of just there in case you need it. I don't know if you choose a follower, deal it through damage, so it can help you stabilize a little bit in the early game if you're getting beat down. With that all being said, that's kind of how the deck just works. You stall the game long enough to go until you pop out your Heavenly Aegis, and then you try to win on Heavenly Aegis by just giving it ward, making it not take damage, not being able to target, just all of that stuff. And everything else is just control tools, honestly. It's a control deck at heart, with a really strong top end, and I'm a really big fan of this deck, honestly. Probably not the best deck in the meta, honestly, but I think it's definitely, you know, worthy of being acknowledged, you know, just for the potential of losing to Heavenly Aegis when he comes down, being able to discard 3 to evolve it, and then just, you know, give it a ward, and it just sits there, and you'll have to look at him. Not being able to swing at anything, only having to do burn damage. There's very few cards that can counter Heavenly Aegis. It was also one of my first legendaries I pulled when I started the CCG back like all those years ago. 8 years ago now, guys. Shadowverse has existed for 8 years. That's crazy to me. So this is a deck list. I hope you all enjoyed this introduction to Haven Shadowverse. Evolve. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you like Shadowverse content, let us know down below in the comments. If you'd rather, you know, want to see this, give me a sign. I'm definitely looking forward to being able to present to you the shenanigans we can pull off with the Direful dolls. Alright, have a good one. Have a good week. Take care, and bye-bye.